No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
And good morning, this is Mike Lodge. I'm so happy that you're with me, and I want to wish each and every one of you a happy Friday and a happy Easter. Because I tell you, Easter is really an important time for all of us. It's that time when we take Good Friday, we forget about business for a few hours of that day, hopefully a little bit longer than that, but we give thanks for one special occasion, that is Good Friday, and to really understand what happened on that day. Now, a lot of us think that Easter is all about the Easter egg, right? The Easter bunny, getting dressed up, going to church for one day of the year. That's what most of you guys are doing. I know, I've seen it. But it's more than that. Good Friday is really the observance of when Jesus Christ was crucified. If you remember that story very well, that he had come before the government, and the government said, "You're guilty." And he carried that cross with these thorns on his head that were beaten down into his skull, and blood was running down his eyes. And he carried this cross. And then he was nailed to that cross. And he was shoved into a hole, and he stood up on that cross with both arms spread out, with nails in his hands. And people came along, and even a soldier came along and shoved a spear into his side. And why did he do it? It was because he was really ordained to come down and give his life for us, to forgive us of our sins. And he was sitting on the cross. He was not sitting. He was up there stretched out on that cross with blood running down his arms and blood running down his face. And there were two other crosses, one on each side of him. And they were both thieves. They were both bad persons. One thief said, "You know what? You are Jesus Christ." And the other one refused to believe. And then all of a sudden, Jesus yelled out, "It's finished." And he died. And then in the tabernacle, the cloth that was up above was ripped from top to bottom. And so you are amazed at this story, at least I am. Now, it's also a day of forgiveness, because that was the day that Jesus Christ and God forgave us all. But it's also a day that we should also think about forgiveness. I tell you, there's some mean things being done. Mean words being said. Words that are being attacked, physical attack on people for how they believe or how they stand up for things. I think that's the most amazing thing, when people have the guts to stand up. Yes, they're ridiculed. Yes, there's words of hate is thrown at them. Sometimes that physical damage is even more, because hate is so prevalent in our whole society at the moment. But we have this one day. Really, it should be every day. But we have this one day of observance of when God forgave us, and it is the lesson to each and every single one of us that we have to forgive other people. It's amazing, isn't it? It's that one amazing story. I know that I'm a business podcaster, but there are certain days like today, Good Friday, and the Easter Sunday, that we have to put business to the side. We have to put all of these worldly things to the side. We have to say, okay, how am I going to better myself today? Well, I've got this one day called Good Friday, that I can sit down and I can say to God, thank you for your forgiveness. Thank you for your grace for saving me. And the key word there is forgiveness, because that is teaching us also to forgive others. I've told this story before. One time I was sitting down with a friend. I was telling him about I was really having a hard time forgetting what happened and forgiving. And he said, you know what, Mike, this is what happens. That thought of that bad experience is going to pop into your mind. And you're going to have to look up and you're going to have to say, God, help me forgive one more time. Because see, we're human beings. It's hard for us to forget a lot of these things that have happened in our lives. It's hard. But it's at one point in time that we have to sit down and we have to say, okay, Lord, I ask for forgiveness one more time. And I ask that you help me to forgive one more time. And I ask that you help me to teach forgiveness one more time. So you have this day today, this Good Friday. Go to your church. Go to your religious organization, or wherever you may go to. Ask for forgiveness one more time. And ask that you will be helped to forgive one more time. Because over the next few months and years, with this inflation and recession and all of these financial concerns and all of these political concerns that are being thrown at us every single day, when we see people being beaten, we see people being hated, and we see people just walking in the street and being shot down, I tell you, we are going to have to learn how to forgive greater, stronger. It's hard, I know. But if we look at today on this Good Friday, and if you can remember that once a year, at least you can go to your church and you can say, Lord, help me forgive one more time. Because we've been forgiven. God gave us that forgiveness when He died on the cross for us. But we human beings, we live with these human emotions every single day and these human thoughts that come back to us every once in a while. And we have to say, okay, Lord, help me forgive one more time. I really think that, friend, because I tell you, Sergio was really a good friend. And he was one of these individuals that you could go to and talk to and get counseling with. And because you have to have those kind of friends with you in your life that you can trust, that you know that no matter what you do, they're going to forgive you. No matter what you say, they're going to forgive you. If you don't have those kind of friends, you should look for those kind of friends, because that is the best way that you can get through life. I remember that old story that says you can choose your friends, but my gosh, you sure can't choose your family. It comes sometimes. But Good Friday is that day where just take a few moments. It doesn't have to be very much. Just take 5, 10, 15 minutes. Sit down. Get a cup of coffee. Close your eyes. And have a conversation with God. And say, I thank you so much for the grace you've given me, for the forgiveness you've given me, and for the life that you have chosen for me. Now, on Good Friday, it's that day that we go to church, we kneel down. Some of you may even take communion. But make it a personal time. I think as we take that personal time and we kneel down on our knees, or we sit down for us old guys, and we have a conversation with God, or whatever belief that you may have that conversation. But make sure that that conversation is about forgiveness. And think about the people that you need to forgive and move on. And then also think about the people that you need to go to and say, will you forgive me for what I said or what I've done? Maybe you haven't had that chance to say that. Maybe someone has passed away that you did not get that chance to say, I love you and I forgive you. And I hope that you forgive me. Get that past out of the way. Because you've got a whole bunch more forgiving that you've got to do for people in your lives. Because we are these human beings. And sometimes we make really bad decisions. I'm happy today's Good Friday. I'm going to go and I'm going to meditate. I'm going to take that just the few moments in time. Now on a daily basis, I do 3 things in my prayer. Because every morning I get up and I pray, and every night when I go to bed I pray. I pray for 3 things. Forgive me for what I have done. Forgive me for the sins that I have committed. And the second one is, help me to forgive those who have done things against me. And the third one is, Lord, help me teach people how to forgive. So on this Good Friday, I hope I've done all 3 when I've talked with you in this podcast. I know we didn't talk about taxes. We didn't talk about the political issues of today that's affecting our financial affairs. We didn't talk about the hate. We didn't talk about the oil and gas. We didn't talk about any of that. Well, I just did now, didn't I? Well, I mentioned it. I didn't talk about it. But today's a good day that we can take at least a few minutes of our time and forgive again. And to be asked for forgiveness again. And to give thanks for that forgiveness. Listen, this is Mike Lodge. I hope all of you have a good Friday and a good Easter. Tomorrow on Saturday, we'll talk about business, okay? But today, it's about Good Friday. If you have any questions, send it to me at thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. If you would like to sit down and have a consulting session or a coaching session, go to my website at www.lodge-co.com. Remember, today's Good Friday. Observe it, live it, feel it, breathe it, pray for it. Talk with you soon. Bye-bye.
Quando vejo a beleza da tua criação, me dá quase vontade de chorar. Porque fazemos tão pouco para te agradecer. Jesus, não quero nunca te esquecer. Quero lembrar do teu amor, daquele sacrifício, morrendo numa cruz pra me salvar. Meu ser é todo teu, ao que queres fazer. Jesus, não quero nunca te esquecer. When I see your beauty, when I sense your grace, my heart is open.